thought it was a great crowd, good energy in the building. Both teams played really hard. And, it was pretty entertaining, exciting game. And, you know, I'm happy for our guys to get a week where we, you know, get the Wednesday game and then we get the Saturday game. That's good for us, and it's a good team, and Tad will have a lot of wins with that group, and wish him well. Excited for our guys, and now we get on to finals and a big game at the end of next week. So that'll take any questions.
At the end of last game, you said you wanted to get a more complete game on both sides of the court. Do you feel like you largely got that tonight?
I really felt like tonight was one of the best, just all-around performances of this group. As far as you know, every guy didn't have a great game as far as numbers were concerned, but every guy that played gave supreme effort. And we had some guys that really stepped up and played. You know, Yoli and TJ. Those two guys. You know, their stat lines are unbelievable. But the effort of every guy who went in, I thought, was tremendous for the whole game. We had a little lull there. We got that 10-point lead, and then they came back at us. We got stuck. We couldn't score. But I thought we were taking pretty good shots. And then we got the ball inside to Eric. He kicked it back out to Bayo. Bayo hit that big three, I think, to tie the game back up again. And I liked the way it felt. I liked the way the bench felt. I liked the way just the interaction between the guys coming in and out. And that's something that we've been trying to find for long periods of time. And it was good tonight. Big part of the win.
Was Eric under the weather?
Eric's had a tough week. Yeah. He played on Wednesday night, and then he played again tonight. The days in between, he's had a tough week.
What was the key defensively? It looked like you guys were digging in pretty well in the lanes, having a lot of deflections too.
Well, I think that, you know, the biggest thing for us was to just be really active and then make plays on the ball. I mean, I think that our hands were active. They're a driving team. They all can drive it, and then they space the floor really well. And so, but the main thing tonight was to really try to control the drive. And the first 10, 12, 14 minutes of the game, they got through us and got to the basket. But I think as the game went on, we got better at it. One time, the guy went down and he dumped the ball in the player who was guarding him, it seemed like, in that first half. But we got better at it as the game went on.
Has that been an emphasis for you guys in practice, in those passing lanes?
Yeah, just being way more active and not being, you're not waiting for people to take it at us. It sounds kind of you know, difficult, but you need to play in an attacking defense without fouling. That's a hard thing to find when you're helping, especially when you're helping each other. But I thought tonight was good. I thought our guys really made a step forward, and we've got some real tangible film that we can show our guys that are playing second, third, fourth efforts on the same possession. That ends up in a stop for us, and that's how this group's going to have to play. That's what we are. We're kind of a work in progress. We're not a polished item at all, and those effort games are going to be going to make the difference.
Mika only managed 3 field goals, but 6 assists. That contributed a lot of
He commands a lot of attention in the post, and that helps so many other guys. And tonight he had a hard time playing through all the contact and finishing, but when he got to the free throw line, he scored for us. But just his presence on the floor, where when he made a catch, he drew the attention of all the other defenders. Everybody would turn their head, and it gave us some opportunity to do some things.
What led you to give Stephen Mayo 21 minutes tonight and key minutes down the stretch?
Well, it's we're having a hard time just with some kind of practice issues with all of our guys, because we've got some injuries and we're playing some guys too many minutes. We needed to find another guy, and we felt like we had a lot of conversation as a staff, and just felt like let's give one of the guys a chance. And with Steven stood out really well in practice. He's played well. you know, I think that he would have emerged a lot sooner, but he hurt his thumb. He had to sit out a week or so, a week and a half of practice, and that kind of slowed him down and set him back. Some other guys kind of got more chances, but I think he proved tonight that there's a lot that he can do to help our team and help our guard line, especially while we're kind of waiting for Elijah. But if we get Elijah back and Steven's playing well, then that makes us even better. So hopefully we can accomplish quite a few things in this little period right now.
Did you see the confidence in the three-point shooting make a difference today?
The confidence in the three-point shooting has kind of come the last 5 or 6 days. I was surprised the other night in the Weber game because we shot the ball really well on Monday and Tuesday in here. And again, in practice, leading up tonight. So I think that a lot of these guys are starting to figure out a lot of things about how this works and the attention to detail and the discipline and the consistency and the accountability that you have to yourself to keep your, to be able to perform at the level that you want to play at. And it was nice to see him go in. Not only for the coaches, but I'm sure for those players,
Is that due in part just to, hey, it's game 10 now, you've just had more experience with this?
Well, I do think we took better shots. I think that's a lot of it. We're not shooting quite as quick. Most of those things came from either the high post in and out or the low post in and out. And then coming off those screens. You make your first one or two, I think it helps. But that three by Bayo, it was really, really important because all the guys on the floor were having a hard time during that stretch when they were making that comeback and we got behind, and you just need somebody else. You get somebody else to hit that thing and it just lifts everybody, and we were good from then on in. Well, I'm excited for Yo, and he needs to. We thought that that this season that KD would play the majority of the minutes, and Yo would kind of learn as you went, but we had to throw him in there with KD's situation, and now he's 2 great back-to-back games. 11 points, I think he had 12 rebounds, 5 for 7 in the field. He's active. You can put him on different defenders, different offensive guys and mix up your defense because he's learning to become a much better perimeter defender. Great rebounder, has a real feel to go get balls. So, you take those are 2 young guys tonight, TJ and Yoli, in their 10th college game to have a line like that, and it's a good sign.
Is Hack-a-Yoli a potential thing down the road you have to be aware of?
What's that?
Hack-a-Yoli. They were going to intentionally.
Yeah, he's a good free throw shooter. He's just having some confidence issues right now. We'll get him in there and spend a lot of time. Those are the kind of things that we're talking about with young guys, that we just need more time. And it's tough right now, especially with the end of the semester and finals and everything going. But we'll get in a rhythm, and that's not concerning me.
Was this the type of measuring stick game that you kind of hope for when you schedule a matchup like this?
Well, you schedule these home and homes, and it's going to be tough going over there, and you just hope that you can make really competitive games out of it, and then win the one at home. And the game last year over there was so important for us because we found Zach Sellius. That was Zach's kind of breakout game, and we didn't win the game, but we went on to really get some great minutes for Zach throughout and maybe the same thing will happen tonight with Stephen Bayo, but we got to win, and we desperately needed a win.
It seems as if the officiating kind of changed in the second half. How was the officiating affected both teams? How do you feel like the guys adjusted eventually towards the win?
Well, the best thing about that was that we were able to continue to guard hard and keep all our guys in. Nick got a quick 3rd foul early in the second half. We had to sit him for a few minutes, but then we got him back out there, and he was able to finish the game without fouling out. So I think our guys are learning how it's being called, and then that's been something that's been pretty common throughout all these seasons, is that sometimes that officiating in the first half maybe a little tighter in the first half and then looser in the second half, sometimes a little bit looser in the first half, tighter in the second half. You know, these crews, they all work a lot of games, but they don't work together. And so I think at halftime, they can get in there, they all know each other, they all are really familiar with, but they can talk about how that game went, and then they can kind of adjust to what they want to do in the next half to make it maybe a little bit more, more efficient and more down to the rules. And our guys are just got to learn to get on to the next play. That was a big part of tonight's game too. With our game plan was not to hang your head after a missed shot, get on to the next play, get on to the next play. And I think our guys did a good job of it.
The team really struggled from the free throw line, but Eric was 11 of 13. How has his improvement in that area of the game and his leadership there, especially with tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what to me, the most telling thing is his confidence when he catches the ball in the low post. Because he knows if he gets fouled, he's going to the free throw line, he's going to make them. And he feels comfortable there, and he wants to be there. And that has been a huge part of the success he's had offensively, is because he's so aggressive in that low post area, because he wants to get the foul. They want to foul him, and he'll go to the line and make them, and that's a good guy to have. The two things that really impress me the most right now is when he gets double teamed, he's a willing passer. The ball comes right back out, which is a great thing to have in a post guy. He recognizes it and he gets the ball out. And then you got an advantage, because you got two guys guarding him. The ball goes out, and there's only three guys to guard the other four. Okay, so that's a huge way for this team to be able to get an advantage. Then the second thing is the confidence he shows when he goes to the line.
Anything else?
All right, guys.